to Fertility Village. This is your weekly live talk show where community and support come together. With rotating hosts, expert guests, and meaningful conversations, we're here to guide you through the highs and the lows of infertility. Whether you're searching for answers, seeking advice, or just looking for a special place to belong, Fertility Village is your space to connect, learn, and grow. Because it really does take a village, and we are here for you every step of the way. Thanks for joining.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Behind the Village, a special episode of Fertility Village Live because we have two very, very special people on. And you might already know who they are in some way or another, but we've never done an episode of Fertility Village with the founders of Oasis Fertility Support Network. So we thought it's probably a good time to do that and just update everybody on if you haven't heard of Oasis before, what Oasis is, what we're doing with it, where we want to go with it. So we're just going to go behind the scenes of Oasis. Of course, Oasis has become a lifeline for so many people in the infertility community. And so we're going to dive into everything, into all the nitty gritty, how it began, their journey so far, and what's on the horizon for Oasis. So I have Erin and Tiffany here. Of course, you've seen them before, but it's so special to have you both here tonight together to share the whole entire story. So let's start straight from the beginning. I'm going to ask if each of you can share a little bit of your own fertility story and where you are today and how it shaped kind of your passion and your mission for building Oasis.
You want to start, Tiff?
Sure. Hi, everyone. It's super nice to be here, usually more or less behind the camera than in front of the camera. So this is pretty exciting, something a little different for me. My story began about 6 years ago. I had just got married. We were trying to get pregnant. Nothing was working. We joined a fertility clinic. We did about 4 IUIs. They all failed. I decided to do my first private cycle of IVF. And that was a really rough cycle for me. I had a lot of just like bad reactions to medications, ended up in the ER a couple times, got to retrieval, felt pretty positive about it. I had about like 18 matured embryos at that time. And then on day 6, I had 1 surviving embryo and I was devastated. Fast forward, I decided to transfer that 1 embryo, didn't get it tested, was just kind of antsy to see what would come of it. Mm-hmm. I transferred it. That embryo, I got very lucky, became my son. And I, at that point, almost kind of felt like my journey may be complete. I felt very just lucky in the sense where I got to experience so many positive things on my journey. I felt like I got to experience pregnancy. I got to experience childbirth. And now I have this beautiful son. How could I ever want more in my fertility journey? But after a year, I got a call that I was on the funded list and that my name had come up. And so after some back and forth with my husband, we decided that we were going to do 1 more retrieval since we didn't have any eggs anyways, frozen for future. And I did that last March. And that was a really tough cycle. I was already experiencing a lot of bad symptoms within my body. I knew I had a cyst on one of my ovaries. It was very, very small. They said it was nothing to worry about and just to continue and do the cycle. I did it. I ended up retrieving 6 follicles, didn't test them. Crazy last minute decision. I froze all of them. And then I found out very shortly after that that cyst had grown by like 6 centimeters. And then it was starting to get a little bit worrisome, but my doctor reassured me that, you know, let's just do a transfer. It's going to be fine. Lots of people get pregnant with cysts. And I said, okay. I did 2 transfers later, both failed. Nothing was working. And I was just in such excruciating pain. I then really pushed hard to get that cyst removed. I felt like if I got that cyst removed and I got my body feeling healthy again, that I could move forward with another transfer and maybe it would then take. In the meantime, that cyst kept growing. It got to 13 centimeters and I was at my ends with, I was feeling all of it. I was in so much pain. I had so many horrible symptoms. I ended up in the ER with so much pain. Like, it was just wild to think back. I got very lucky that I got put on a list for surgery with a doctor who specialized not only in removing cysts, but also in removing endometriosis. My doctor had a small feeling that I could have had endometriosis. At the time, I never had any symptoms of endo, always had normal periods, never had really painful periods. And I just said, okay, just let's get it removed. And I would just want to move on with my life. I finally, in May of this year, got that cyst removed. That was at 13 centimeters. And I ended up having stage 4 endometriosis, which is wild, because I would have never thought of just having endo. But then to discover that I had stage 4, like the worst stage, I was like, how is this even possible? But the last 8 months had already been so excruciating. So all of that pain that I was experiencing from that cyst ended up being an endometrioma cyst from endometriosis. Once they were in there, everything was just not looking good. I had endo in my colon. I had endo all over my ovaries. I had my ovaries and my colon attached together to my back. I had to have them released. I had to have so much of the endo scraped off. I ended up having a part of my uterus actually removed because it was so damaged with endo. So there is a very small possibility that I possibly could not carry or possibly could not give birth naturally. Something to discuss if I ever were to get pregnant with an OB. So today I actually feel very healthy and I feel like I'm in a really good place. I'm currently on the wonderful drug of Lupron, have been for the last 3 months. So going through those really fun symptoms. If you've ever been on Lupron, then you know. But on the actual surgery, I feel good. I feel like a lot of the symptoms that I was experiencing in the last 8 months, it's crazy to think that I even was experiencing them, because today I feel really good about it. So surgery for me was 100% beneficial and life-changing. So that's where I am right now.
Wow, that is quite a story. And so I think a lot of women will resonate with that, because people don't know that they have endometriosis until you go in and you're like, oh, by the way, you had stage 3 or you had stage 4, and this is why you were experiencing symptoms, and this could be a reason why you were not able to get pregnant. And so I think we need to go a long way in women's healthcare for sure, and how it's handled and how it's treated, and how we just need to be, we know our bodies, we know something is wrong. And when we say something, it needs to be kind of addressed faster, because who knows, hindsight is 2020, but if they had addressed this years and years ago, you wouldn't have been in this pain and this cyst wouldn't have grown so large. So anyways, of course, can't do anything about it now, but it's
my favorite thing to imagine, if endometriosis was a men's disease,
oh my God,
we would have a cure, we would have all kinds of awesome drugs to make it disappear.
Yeah.
So we can hope for that.
Men have that. Let's find the cure for it right now, because men can't be in pain, can they?
No. Never.
Okay, Tiff, thanks for sharing your story and all the nitty-gritty of it. It's, I think, just so inspiring to see that you're here and you pushed through and you did what you needed to do, and now you have a lot of relief, except for the Lupron. That's nothing that anybody wants to be on. But Erin, it's your turn. Can you tell us your story? Tell me about your story.
Yeah, I sure can. I would love to tell you. I first of all, commend Tiffany for founding a national nonprofit in the midst of her fertility journey. That is just unbelievable. I was a total wimp during my journey. And I mean, I'm not going to say wimp, because that could be insulting to other people who are also hiding in the shadows of their infertility. But I definitely did not come out that I was in the journey to many people while I was on the journey. It was very like hidden for me. It was very silent suffering. It was very much like not a public journey for me. And now I feel like I talk about it all the time. I like relive it every day. But back when I was going through it, it was very much like a silent sort of, I felt like there was a ton of stigma. And the only thing I had to get me through it was my support group that I found in our town here. So anyways, my journey is over. It's long over. And it was 10 years long. It started when I was 28 years old. And my partner and I had been married for a while, and we wanted to start to explore the idea of having a family. So we kind of pulled the goalie and to see what would happen. And we weren't in a huge rush. We were kind of like, if it doesn't happen right away. We did some testing after a little while, more on myself. We never tested my partner for a very long time because I just couldn't imagine a world that was possible. And so, and we were in a transition from one country to another country. We were moving. So there was a lot going on. We weren't like, yeah, let's like get right on top of this. And we were young. We were under 30. So I was like, we got time.
And of course, fertility is always a woman's issue, right? It's never.
I just grew up in a world where I just didn't even imagine that men couldn't have sperm.
Yeah, it's true. And like
a wild thing to imagine.
We're not even educated about for infertility or fertility issues in general. And then when it comes to male fertility issues, like it's so much less than what's out there for women. So like, totally.
Yeah. So, a couple years into just like trying naturally, I guess, natural. There's no real natural thing anymore. But I know I hate that term. We finally went and got a baseline test on both of us. Like I just went to an actual doctor, not a naturopath. And and that's when we found out we had male factor and that we were going to need like third-party reproduction to start our family. So then it was like a bit of a gap there where we were kind of navigating, what do we do now? This is actually a choice we have to make to have kids. Do we want kids or do we not want kids? And so we took a big break to kind of answer that question first, because we're like, we now know, like we can choose this, or like if we are going to, we're going to have to fight for it pretty hard. So we decided at the end of a period of time, we really couldn't imagine our life without any littles. And so we started down the infertility road, and we tried some IUIs with donor sperm, and they were unsuccessful. I did 4. They weren't back to back. I took some pretty good sized breaks in between to try and like fix my body to do all the things I could control to make the IUIs with donor sperm work. And then we got on a wait list for IVF. We did the year-ish wait. In the meantime, we did 1 more IUI. But after that year, we finally got a funded cycle. And somewhere in there, our doctor convinced us that my husband should do a surgery to see if we could find any usable sperm, which we did find some that he thought could produce an embryo potentially, but we were unsuccessful with any embryos as well. So we had donor sperm. We did 2 rounds of IVF that were with donor sperm. And after all of the genetic testing on all of those embryos, we ended up with 1 genetically perfect embryo. And when that one transferred, we got very, very lucky. And that became my one and only little guy. So he's 4 now. And the journey feels a long time behind me, because I decided at that point when we were going through that second round of IVF, that I just didn't have any more emotional energy, mental health energy, money, time, or like really, like I had nothing. I was like below nothing. I was so done. So I was like, I'm going to end my fertility journey regardless of whether this embryo results in a pregnancy or not. And so I was ready to move forward either way, because that was, at that point in time, I was 37 and a half, almost 38. And so it was 10 years of just like so it just all consuming my life. But throughout that time, I did I did find one of my good friends. She started a support group, and I had the chance to go. It was actually my first transfer my first IUI that failed, I think. I can't remember. So long ago now. And anyways, at one point there was a failure and I was like, I need people. And so I started going to her support group and changed everything for me. It was like, yeah, it was so good just to connect with others who got it. So that was a game changer on my journey. And then for a while I led the group and then took a break from it because of my having my son. And then I came back to lead it again after I was a year postpartum. And that's when I met Tiff.
Sorry, my mic was muted.
Oh, that's what I was like, okay, I can't hear you.
Thank you. I was going to say on that note, I'm segues into my next question. But first, thank you very much for sharing your story. I don't even know if I've fully heard your story from A to Z. And I think I got like a really good look at it there. So it's really nice to hear your whole entire story, even though, I mean, very hard story, but it ended in success.
Yeah. I feel like we got really lucky with that one embryo because that was like only my second ever transfer. And it was only actually the second embryo that we had that was tested because when we were doing our cycles, we were putting some of the, like, you know, maybe usable sperm from my partner's surgery into some of the eggs to see if we had a chance at it.
Okay.
We had a low embryo count because of that, and so that's why
you ended up with one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you were like using some of your partner sperm and then some of the donor sperm, and that's why you ended up with one. That was a very lucky one embryo, and I'm so glad that he persevered. I gotta say, he did. Yep. Okay, so on that note, segues perfectly into my next question. How did you two meet? How did that happen? And then, like, how did you come up with the idea? Like, who said, hey, we should start this endeavor of creating this massive charity and like supporting the community? Who did that? Which one of you was that? Because great job, by the way. Tell me.
Well, I'll start, and then I think Erin will end with the lottery story. But during my journey, I felt very isolated. Everybody around me was getting pregnant, and I just felt like I had no one I could speak to. And so one day I think like during the day I had gone to like the clinic and I was like, why don't I talk to any of these people here? Like, why don't I like reach out to somebody? And I thought about that all day long. And then at night I was like, you know what, I'm just going to put like a Facebook post out there. And if there's somebody in my community that's going through infertility, like maybe they'll want to meet up. So I just wrote like in a IVF group or a berry, I don't know, support group, and was like, hey, if anybody is like lives in my city and is going through infertility and wants to meet up at Starbucks at 7 p.m., like come meet me. And at that point I was like, oh, probably nobody will show up. I'll just sit here and I'll have a Starbucks. And in that comment section, Erin had messaged and she's like, hey girl, she's like, we actually already have a support group. Like you should come join.
Like, don't start another support group.
But I was like, I need support today. So I did actually meet up with, I think like 4 girls that night that I'm still really good friends with today, funny enough. And that's kind of where it started. So then I attended the support group with Erin, I don't know, like maybe like once or twice. And then right away, I kind of just knew, I was like, oh, I'm going to really like this girl. Like this personality is like definitely something like I could get along with. Like she was just like super fun and just made every experience like super positive. And she had so much knowledge. And I just kind of at the time, like really still, but like really looked up to her. And then one day, Erin, we were all around this like beautiful fire that Erin had made for us at support group. And we were all chatting and Erin had talked about like winning the lottery. So tell us about that story. And that's kind of how this all kind of came about.
Yeah, totally. I mean, the feeling was totally mutual, Tiff, because I was always super impressed when you came to a group. Like this girl had like notes and doctor, like wrote down everything, always had like such good advice for everybody in the group.
A life of an infertile. You got to write everything down.
Everything has to be written
type
down.
personality.
Yeah, exactly. But I was just always like really, inspired by her journey too, and just like how she was handling it and everything. And there'd been always like, I'd never really thought of growing it past what it was, our support group where we live. But we were all talking that night, and I was like, I think we were talking about funding it. It's so expensive. And I was like, one day I'm going to win the lottery and just fund everybody's treatment. It was just hilarious. Like, it was just a proclamation, but it was a joke. It wasn't serious. Nobody is going to win the lottery. Well, I'm still going to put it out there. It could happen.
Yeah.
Better story if it actually
Erin
happened.
also has like really good luck in everything and wins everything. So
I have a vibration. We're putting out a vibration for this. Yeah. Anyways, it was like within that week, I was at a conference, a leadership conference, and I was listening to a woman speak about, that you can't just start, you can't just have a small idea can be a big idea. You can't start with win the lottery. You have to start with the, how do we get there kind of thing. So, yeah. And I was like, that's really actually true. And I felt like at that moment I had this sort of like download of information that I got really excited about. Like, what if we did branch out these support groups? What if we did win the lottery, so to speak, and start helping people find support? Not necessarily money, maybe someday we'll fund treatment. But really, like, ultimately we're funding treatment by giving people support, by giving people advice, by giving people the, like, emotional support to keep going. Yeah. Because the more support you have, the longer you can go in this journey. Right. And so the next week we went back to support group, and I said, hey, I think we need to do something here. Like, and straight away Tiff was like, I want to talk to you. And we sat in my car, we talked for 2 hours, and it was like, everything was the same. She was like, I've been thinking about this idea. Like, I think we need to do something. And I was like, let's do it. I don't want to do it alone. Let's do it together. So yeah, we did it together. And so that's how it all started. That's how we met. That's how we found each other. I already knew it was going to be her. Like, even I feel like when I got that like feeling of, we should do this. I was like, I already knew, like, I already had, like, she was part of it. She was part of that. Like, I think we need to build something here. It would be so amazing. So here we are 4 years. I think, is it 4 years? 3 years later, I guess. Yeah, 3 years this August. It's actually very timely.
Oh, very cool. Okay. So then you guys found each other. You sat in a car for 2 hours and you said, we want to do this. So what did you want to do? Like, what was the dream? What was what you were planning? Was it just local support groups, or did you say like, no, we're going full steam. We want to be across Canada. We want to do, like, what were the first steps?
Go ahead, Tiff.
To be quite honest, I thought about this today. I was like, man, what were the first steps? And I remember like that very first conversation, we were like, we should just fund what if we could raise enough money and we could fund
that would be so lovely
person in Ontario their IVF journey. And like, that was like our first like number one goal. Looking back, it's so funny now and obviously unrealistic, but that was like a big dream of ours at the very beginning, before like support groups came into place. Was just really, is it possible? Like, is it possible that we could help every single person? Could we help all of these girls in the support group? Like, what can we do?
Yeah, we definitely had some like big audacious dreams. We still do. They're out there. They're we will continue to do really big things. I think I remember like early days. I think for that first like week after that 2-hour car conversation, we really, I was like, I have a quiet week at work. You were off work because you were in your transfer from your successful pregnancy. And so we were like, let's just start meeting. So we started going for coffee like every day or every couple of days, probably like 3 or 4 times that week. And we just started like dreaming. And we, like, when you're starting something like this, this
gosh, it's so
magnitude.
fun.
It's so fun, but well, like, what do we call it? How do we like all of the planning, all of the mapping, and all of the things. So yeah, I mean, definitely like support groups has always been at like the top of the tip of the spear, I always say, because it's really like our entry point into the fertility space so that we can find people that we can support. And then podcast was always on the billet. It was always like, we want to tell people stories. We really just thought of like, what are the things we wish existed when we were going through or are going through our journeys? And we started there. So we started writing a book on how to lead a support group. We started writing the journal, which we just published a little bit ago. That's sort of where we started. We started like, oh, we should create clothing so that people can purchase pineapple gear and then feel like they're in this like little like club with the like, pineapple on it, and that's gonna like they're gonna see each other and see someone with a pineapple and be like infertile, that kind of thing. We just started like, and we're like, oh, and that can raise money for the organization if people buy our hoodies and our toques and stuff. So we did that. We found a little market that we could start our first fundraiser. We got some stickers made. We just like kind of went for it, and then we had our first tea party, and that's when things. Yeah, and then we really got the ball rolling. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's a great conception story. I think you guys thought about the sun, the moon, and the stars, and then just started executing what you could. Because obviously, how wonderful would it be to like pay for everybody's treatment? But like, obviously, that's not realistic. That's amazing. Okay, so now looking back 4 years, one day, I'm sure of it. One day, looking back on these 4 years, what really surprised you in terms of starting a non-for-profit, and like what were some of the biggest challenges that you guys faced when starting, or like that you still face, that Oasis still faces to this day?
Oh my gosh. I can start that one, Tiff, if you want.
Long answer. Yeah, sure.
So I think, well, first of all, it was like a whole new learning curve, and it only occurred to me like when we were like filling out the application or the corporate, we got a close friend of ours actually set up our corporation for free. And it's like, as we were signing off on everything, I was like, oh my God, we just started a business. This like thing has to have we need an accountant. It has to like, we really, as it wasn't until we got right into it and I like kind of like knew all of those things, but it hadn't just like hit me in the feet yet. They weren't on the ground quite yet. And so it was like, oh yeah, okay. So, it was just all of the like learning as you go. And we still get a little bit of that sometimes, but for sure. For the most part, I think we've been pretty smart about how we've navigated the whole setup and everything. I think surprises, I don't know, Tiff, why don't you go and I'll see if I can think of anything else.
Gosh. The early stages of starting any organization, I think, are just hard as is. It comes with its challenges, but really it was just figuring out like what was that dream and how could we make it like sustainable, like long term. There were many times where we wondered, could we do this? Could we not do this? Finding the right people who would see like the same vision that we had. If we could even reach all of the people that we wanted to. At one point we were talking about like, we're going to be across the country. Like this is going to be bigger than us. Just finding all of the right people, knowing that firsthand, like the journeys that everybody was going through. I don't know, so many challenges at the very beginning, but our goal always remained the same. And it was just to help as many people as possible feel less alone on this journey and just moving on in the right direction.
Yeah. And I think on that note, I think Oasis is doing a really amazing job of redefining the fact that support is so important in your fertility journey. And I think a lot of the times people think about medication and the clinics and the doctors, and I'll just push through because that's what I need to do. But they don't stop and think like, I need help. I need to talk to somebody that knows what I'm going through, not just the clinic therapist, for example, right? Because it's available. And I think, you wouldn't have heard about anything like this years and years and years ago. And like Oasis, I feel like was the first big push for, not like, there's a lot of people that were talking about funding, a lot of people that were talking about advocacy, but where is the mental health support, right? Mental health support that's accessible for everybody. And that's what Oasis is. It's accessible for everybody. It's free. Anybody can do it. All you have to do is join and sign up. And so that's a really, really beautiful thing. And I don't know if that's necessarily an Oasis challenge. I think it's just a community challenge overall. And Oasis is doing a great job of addressing it. So
we definitely, like, one of the like top tier things that we're like, we won't budge on this piece is that we wanted all of our programs and support groups to be accessible. Like, ultimately the big dream isn't fund everybody's treatment. It's that fertility treatment is accessible, that there's no cost, no barriers to treatment. And so cost is obviously such a huge barrier for so many people. It's just not the first barrier that we're trying to deal with. We're going to start with the mental health piece, and then we'll move on. Once we kill that one and we crush it and everybody's mental health is like fully intact through their whole journey, maybe then we'll tackle the cost of it all. I don't know why I look blurry, guys. So I'm just saying, I think it's, I don't know if it's just me.
I look like I have a huge head. I don't know why. I know moving my camera
totally
back.
Fine.
So
yeah. So I think it's tackling the barriers to fertility and to support. And so this is the first one we're tackling. It's emotional and mental health. And honestly, like, when we started, we're like, what else is out there for support? We're like, okay, there's Fertility Friends Foundation, there's Modern Miracle, there is funding, there is support for this. So let's move over to, mental health support. And we were already doing support groups, and we're like, this is actually where we need to, like, build our focus. And then along came Lindsay, who's our director of support and care. It was like a reach out one day, and it was like, I need to be part of this. Can we have coffee? And I was like, yeah, come on over. So we had, it was amazing. And two of the women who are in our executive committee were also in that support group with Tiff and I that first night. And they're both Kaylee and Sarah are a huge part of this organization. And so it hasn't just been our brains behind this operation. There are so many of us. And now we have a board of 12. I think we're 11 or 12. We're almost 12. And it's a lot of hands at work in this thing. It's not just us. And there's been so many different,
be where it is today without that group of people. That's for sure, because they are the heart and soul of our organization. And without their passion, we could not move forward the way we are.
I think definitely the motivation comes from our own stories and our own journeys and our own loneliness until we found support, right?
Totally.
So, okay, it's been 4 years this August, and lots of things have happened. So tell me about some of the programs that Oasis has started, has launched, and not even programs, just initiatives, resources. What does Oasis look like today in comparison to when it started?
Do you want me to take that, Tiff?
Yeah, sure. I'll just add on.
Okay. So it's been 3 years this August. I was just doing the math.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. I just was like, has it been 4? I think it's been 3 years. This just like literally, I think it was this week, which is very funny because I hadn't thought of it till this moment that we started like connecting and meeting together and going like doing all of so good job, Marissa, on getting that, feeling that vibe. But yeah, so originally we just had the one support group in Barrie, and we started thinking about like, how do we reach the most people the fastest? And so we're like, we knew two things. We needed to be able to have a big reach, and we knew that we needed to not just support people who with infertility, we needed to support people through their pregnancy journey and postpartum. And so a few people from our support groups who had come through our own program in Barrie put up their hand to lead virtual groups. It was people in our close network who we knew that would be like foundational people to lead support groups. And so we branched out and we started 3 virtual groups. So we started an infertility group, a pregnancy group, and a postpartum group, so we could then at least take somebody through their whole fertility journey straight away, because we knew that that's where there was a huge gap. We were like, we don't want to fire people from, when they get pregnant out of the fertility group, they need that second piece and third piece. So that's what we did first. And then we just started finding people in cities to lead groups. And we started with Newmarket, and then we went to, we started just networking within the fertility community. I met Marissa at Lobby Day at Queen's Park that year. And then I met 2 or 3 of our other support group leaders currently. And then I just started asking everybody, do you want to lead a support group? I can help you. I can train you. We'll do it. Don't worry. We got this.
You live in.
Yeah. And that's what we did. We just started.
Thing about Erin can sell you socks with holes in them. Like, here's a sock. Okay.
They're really nice holes.
It has holes, but it is the best sock that you will ever get. And you're like, I need the sock. I need the sock. I need the sock. So if you ever need anybody to convince anybody of anything, it's Erin, because she makes everything. Oasis is amazing, but she can take something so not amazing and make it sound so good and so like, I want to be a part of that. Take me with you. But Oasis is amazing. It has nothing to do with that.
I'm going to call it inspirational.
It's just like, I don't know. You have a gift. You have a gift. Definitely go to sales. You could do it.
I'm in it, girl.
I know.
That's so funny. Yeah. So that's really like where it started. And then the podcast was really after support groups. After I think we got 4 or 5 support groups going, and then we started the podcast. Yeah.
Okay. So talking about the podcast, because obviously we have these 2 lovely ladies on right now, but they actually have a podcast that airs twice a month. Once a month? Twice a month.
Yeah, seasonally. So we run our little season from like fall to spring, and we try and do 2 episodes a month. Yeah.
You can actually catch Tiff and Erin on many, many podcasts hosting other people, which is fantastic. And it's a variety of people within the community just telling their stories. It's really nice to have that, like you could be going through a hard day, you put on a story, and like no matter what, something from everybody's story will resonate with you in one way or another. So it's not directly a support group or something that you can talk, but sometimes you don't want to talk. Sometimes you just want to sit there and listen. And that's what this podcast is really about. So tell us about the Oasis podcast, why you decided to create it, your favorite moments so far, and what we can expect in season 3, which is launching in October. So if you can give us like a little bit of a spoiler, that would be great.
Go ahead, Tiff. Why don't you tell her?
Tell me.
So for me, the idea of having a podcast came pretty early on, just from a personal experience. I always felt like there wasn't a podcast out there that really told stories. Everything that I kept finding, well, when I was going through it, it was also COVID. So everybody had podcasts and everybody was listening to podcasts. But they were always about like the science behind fertility or treatments and what treatments you should do and what vitamins you should take. And I just wanted something that would like take me through somebody's journey. I just want to hear like the raw stories, the ups and the downs, and, the not good stuff and the good stuff. And then what came of your story. And there was just really nothing out there. And I think like when we kind of like approach each other of like doing the podcast, it was very much of like, we have a community. Let's just share their stories on this podcast. And then see like how people react and if they love it. And we just got really lucky that the community like really started to enjoy these podcasts. They really started to enjoy just hearing, community members, people from Ontario sharing their personal journeys through the podcast, and then hearing, like about different clinics and their different experiences. And I think a lot of people just, it resonated with them. And so it kind of just brought us all together, and we're now going into season 3, which is insane because I don't even think we thought it was going to be more than 1 season. So it's been an exciting time. It's a project that I think we're both really passionate about and really enjoy doing, and we're proud of it. And some of those episodes, they're just like our babies. I love the podcast. I cry in every single episode. Listening it to every story just gets me every single time. It puts me right back in that place. But it's an honor to hear people's stories and what they've been through, and hearing them be so vulnerable to be able to share that, not only with us, but just to our community. It's been good.
And for people who haven't listened to the podcast, there are a lot of podcasts that are very structured. I've been lucky enough to be on the Oasis podcast, and it truly just feels like a conversation. Like you're hanging out with your girlfriends and you're having a conversation and you're crying and you're laughing and you're like, oh, don't put that in the podcast. Can you put that
we edited that one. This is live.
Yeah. And it's just a really good time talking about something that sucks kind of thing. And so definitely you need to go listen to it if you haven't yet. Start with one episode and then you'll get hooked. So, okay.
Totally.
Season 3. Give us the tea.
Well, it's still to be determined. Like we haven't booked any guests yet. So if you want to be on the pod, shoot us a note because we have lots of openings. But we were stewing on some ideas this week about potentially doing some like doctor-patient
We're
stories.
sharing all the tea here today.
Doctor-patient stories.
So having our like a patient and a doctor sharing the story together, we're gonna like jazz it up a little. We're definitely gonna tell some. What's that?
Definitely changing all of our questions.
Yes, we're gonna revamp the questions because we feel like they might be getting a little tired. We changed it in season 2 slightly, but we thinking season 3 we're gonna get a little more interesting. So yeah, we have lots to come. Definitely gonna try and get some celeb guests on. So if you know any, send them our way. Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. I think we should channel the friend Kelly. What's her last name? I want the astronaut. So whoever has a connection out in the universe to her, send her our way. We want her on the podcast. Yeah, we'll see. It's gonna be a good season. It always is. And like ultimately the podcast, what we started kind of dialing in on when we were like dreaming about like the structure of the organization, we're here to support people. And so whether that means from like while you're driving in your car and needing support, or whether you're at like the end level being the support group where once a month you're meeting with somebody, we're like, we need to organize supports for, day to day, week to week, and month to month. And so we started with the podcast was kind of regular, but people could access it 24/7. The support group was once a month, but we're like, where's the week to week? And then the idea of Fertility Village came. Ta-da! Yeah, so here we are doing that.
Okay. I want, if you guys can think of it in a quick rapid fire, your favorite moment. It could be a funny moment, it could be a sad moment, it could be a happy moment of podcasting so far.
The behind the scenes is always the best. Either technology not working, microphones not working, forgetting things at home. Like there's just never enough coffee.
One time Tiffany forgot the microphone at home and she had to drive 20 minutes to get it.
Oh no, you had to, well, I guess you can't really do like, how are you going to record it? Like, yeah. Oh well. Okay.
It's been a great way for us to really get to know each other on like a personal level. When we first started Oasis, we had known each other for like a couple of weeks. So we've kind of like grown our friendship as we've built Oasis, this organization. So the podcast has always been fun because it's our one time where we actually get to come together, share these stories, but also just have so much fun, like behind the scenes of Oasis. So it's been a fun project for us.
I think my favorite parts have been,
we're not really talking about like business, but we're just having more fun.
Right. Yeah. I was thinking my favorite parts have been the embarrassing stories. Like I could tell you everybody's embarrassing stories. I think we should write a book called like The Awkward Girl's Guide to Infertility and just tell all of the most embarrassing stories about. Yeah, because we gotta laugh. Like we're in this journey. It's the shittiest shitty shit you're ever gonna experience. And you're like, we at least have to laugh because if you don't laugh, you might just die. Or cry, so we tell the embarrassing stories, and laughter is the best medicine. That's true. That's true. That's a true truth. Yeah. But my favorite was our friend who forgot she wore a onesie to her It's our friend Candace on episode 2 or 3. She wore a onesie to her ultrasound, and then they just gave her that tiny towel to cover her vajay, like before the Wanda comes in, and she's like, she didn't wear a bra because she just was, so she's just like, I'm just naked.
What do you mean, like a onesie, like a zipper onesie, like one of those?
No,
like
it was summer. It was summer, so it was like a little romper.
Oh, so she had to take it all off.
Yeah, and they're like, take off your pants, and she's like,
and here's this square of paper.
I don't have pants. I don't have my pants or my top, and my top's my pants, and she comes in this like tiny towel covering everything. The nurse is like, what are you doing? So funny.
And these are moments that you will hear.
Yeah. Thank you, Candace, for that entertainment. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe in season 3 we'll share our embarrassing moments. We've never done that before. Maybe
I don't have any.
That's a good episode. Yeah, I love that. Okay, good to know. Okay, so if you want to know all the embarrassing things Erin and Tiffany have gone through, which I'm sure, like we all have them, or many, you need to listen to this next episode on season 3. So look out for it.
Coming in.
Okay, so the future of Oasis, because, you know, we've talked about the past, we've talked about where we are right now. Where do you see Oasis in the future? What is the vision? And where can people find Oasis today besides the support groups, the podcast, and Fertility Village Live?
Let me go first.
You want to? Yeah, go ahead. I was checking out the comments on IG.
Okay. Oasis is showing up in many ways today. People can find us in fertility clinics. You can find us on our support groups, in our virtual groups, our in-person groups. You can find us on our social media. That's where we tell a ton of stories, tips, and helpful resources. We're also really excited that we're going to be launching our new website, which will offer even more tools and support for anyone who's navigating the fertility journey. At the heart of it, really, our goal is just to have Oasis everywhere so that everyone can find community and have a place where they can share and vent and feel understood while just navigating this journey. So.
Okay. And of course, like if you are at a clinic and you don't see Oasis there, let us know. We want to be in that clinic. Like I always say, like the one of the most powerful things is word of mouth. And if you know about Oasis and you're in a place where you think Oasis should be, like shoot us a message. Be like, hey, I want Oasis to be here, and we will get there. So yeah. Okay. So great. We're always trying to get in anywhere that we can be. We have a journal. Erin, I know you're very excited about that journal. Do you want to?
I am.
We did have an episode not too long ago just about the journal, but for people that didn't catch that and are listening to this one, give us a little bit of the scoop about the journal.
Yeah, so the journal is actually still available on our website in our shop for a couple more days at no cost. If you go there right now and order, I think I sent out like 8 journals this week. Yeah, so go order it. You just have to pay $5 for shipping right now. And then after our like kickoff sort of big promotion that we start, the launch, we'll call it the launch. It's then going to be $10 online starting on September 1st. You can still get a copy for free if you join a support group. That is how it's available because we created it and we printed it for folks who are in our support group community. So
an in-person group or a virtual group?
Virtual, we'll have a code to get it for free through the website. So there'll be a $10 discount code if you join a virtual group. So it will still be accessible and free for anybody. Again, you just have to pay the shipping. So yeah, and then it's also going to be at the fertility show. So if you're coming, fertility show October 18th, we will have journals. We'll be giving them out that day too. So that's the next chance you'll have. That's like a spoiler. Oh my gosh, where's my banner? That's like spoiler alert. I got it. Spoiler alert. It's coming. It's going to be at the fertility show October 18th. That's at the Harbor Castle in
Western Harbor.
Yeah. Thank you. Western Harbor Castle. October 18th. That's a Saturday. So save the date. We will have a discount code for tickets. If you haven't got your tickets yet, hang tight. It'll be coming soon. We'll be putting it on our Instagram. So yeah, hope to see you all there. We're going to have meetups. We're going to have all kinds of cool stuff happening at the fertility show. So it's a little shout out for Canadian Fertility Show in Toronto. Don't miss it. It's going to be great.
So if you're pretty local, but you attend a virtual support group, but you want to meet your people in real life, come
exactly.
and be like, hey,
or come attend with the people in your support group. Like even if you are one of those further support groups, maybe you guys all drive together, carpool, and then come there. Hopefully we'll have a couple of
day.
Yeah, we've been talking. Sorry.
That's okay. Finish your thought.
We've been talking about having a meetup for like couples, but then last night I had the idea. I'm like, wouldn't it be cool if because we just started a men's support group. It's like, wouldn't it be cool if all the men could get together and have like a support group, but meet up at the fertility show? Because the men always kind of walk around with their wives and they don't really want to be there. But it would be awesome if, like, girls to get together, the men can get together, they can make
that'd be cool.
Yeah. Okay, so if you heard, we're having a meetup. So come to the fertility show and meet us and meet up with us. Okay, looking ahead, and of course, nobody can predict the future, but looking ahead, what is the future vision for Oasis? In 10 years, where do you see Oasis? Where do you want it to be, ideally?
Well, our team we actively are planning. We do strategic planning every year. We have a strategic plan for the organization, super professional in that way. But honestly, the organization, like, we have really big plans for Oasis. Can I give you like 2 years, 5 years, 10 years?
Yes.
You said 10, but I'm like, but what about everything in between?
No, you're right. Give us 2, 5, and 10.
So in the next couple years, you'll definitely see Oasis. We're going to move into clinic space to help start to support fertility clinics and the staff at the clinics, fertility professionals in their field. We're going to help train them to support fertility patients. So that's going to be a part of Oasis that isn't necessarily patient facing. It's more in clinic support, but we are starting to offer a support group for professionals in September, as well as a psychoeducation program that's potentially launching next year. So that's all really exciting. And then obviously we're starting more support groups all the time. We just started a men's group. It's definitely in the cards to start an adoption group. We definitely want to start a couples group. We've had a lot of people asking for that. They'd be virtual. And then any city where anybody puts up their hand to lead a support group, we have training for you. So we train you now. We have a support group guidebook, but we are building out a full training program so that you can learn to lead a support group in your own community. That is happening in 2026. Beyond that, we are building a psychoeducation program for patients as well, so that you can actually go through a course to understand the impact that this journey is going to have on your mental health, on your emotional health. And you can enter into the journey a little more at peace with this is what's going to go down, because you don't know. I wish I knew. I wish that was there when I was at the point where we're like, we're going to do baseline testing. I'm just going to go watch a couple of videos and understand. So that's going to happen. Yeah. Beyond that, we are definitely going national at some point. We will have support groups in every province in Canada. We will have support groups virtually in every time zone in Canada. And our journal is going to be in French someday. Someday. Yes. I just need to wait for the right AI product to come out that just does it like that. And then I just republish. It'll happen. I just need to wait. Anyways. So yeah, that's kind of like short term, sort of that's 2 to 5 years. 10 years. Like, I mean, it feels like a long time away to even imagine like what's possible, because it's funny, as we have folks go through our support group and then have success and then finish their fertility journey and come back to us and say, we want to be part of this. What can we do? Where can we lead a group? Where do you need help? Like, the more the snowball of, takes effect and impact, I think we're just going to see some really, really huge growth over definitely on the 10-year projection. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited. Tiff, what do you want to add to that?
No, you definitely nailed it for sure. Those are definitely all our big goals that we want to have. And some of them are actually already in the works. So hopefully sooner than later. But I just hope that Oasis just becomes a name that everybody knows in the industry. I hope it becomes like just immediately people think like, oh, I joined a fertility clinic. Oh, I'm going to also join Oasis. Oh, I'm going to be fine because I know that I'm going to have the support in the care from them. And I know that there I'm going to find a community who understands what I'm going through, and I'm not going to feel alone. And I hope that we just change the stigma around infertility and just give everybody the hope that they need. So hopefully it becomes just a name that when you go and join a clinic, you also join Oasis.
Yeah.
Find your people.
We're gonna keep helping to, I think, with like advocacy work that Fertility Matters does, and just keep on as much as we can. I'm active in the fertility benefits space, trying to help with employers finding support for their employees. So that's so exciting. And honestly, like I've said it before, but like I'm not gonna stop until you go on your fertility journey and you can say like, yeah, it was hard, but I was supported. It didn't cost me anything. And I had people around me that cared, when everybody who goes through a fertility journey can say all of those things, then I'll stop. But until then, I think we have a big job to do.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, it might take
big job to do.
But I know you're determined, so it's going to be fine. Okay.
I'm not going to do all the things. I'm just going to help.
We're all going to do all the things, but
we're all going to do all the things.
Okay.
It's definitely a team effort.
Yeah. I'm going to borrow a question from the Oasis podcast. Tiff, maybe I'll start with you. If you could go back to the beginning of your fertility journey, what would you tell yourself?
Oh gosh, I've heard this question so many times now. I think I change my answer every single time. But if I could go back, what would I tell myself? I'd say, listen, girl, you're going to be okay. Everything is going to be okay. You are so much stronger than you know. You are brave. And even though this journey may feel long and uncertain, you will get through it. And it's important to lean on community, to find support early on in your journey, connect with others who understand what you're going through, to trust your gut, to do a ton of research, find a doctor who understands you and your goals. Just find the right support so that you can have clarity on what's really important to you, especially on this journey. And then I feel like everything will slowly fall into place and feel more manageable. And with that community, you're going to feel less alone every step of the way. And you got this.
Okay. Erin, same for you. If you could go back to the beginning of your fertility journey, what would you tell yourself?
I think I would say, ask more questions, advocate for yourself. I wish I had known that I could have had more of a voice on my journey than I did.
Yeah.
I think I would say, don't look too far ahead. Just try and focus on the next green arrow, the step that you're on, so that you're not too overwhelmed with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's such an overwhelming journey. I think I would say, it's going to be really hard, but it's going to be worth it. I think I wish I had known how worth it was going to be, even though I still have so much pain around the journey. And I wish somebody had told me to find support earlier. Somebody had told me, you should find a fertility friend at the beginning, don't hide, don't be secret. You can, it's okay to talk about it. Because there was so much shame for me around the whole thing. And I think I would have probably fared a little better. I think my mental health would have fared a little better. It wasn't really till I found the support group that I was like, oh my gosh, I think I'm going to be okay, So yeah, I think that's what I would tell myself. Yeah.
And I do want to point out from something that you said, it's very different to share and be open with your family and friends who haven't been through infertility before. They might mean well, but they just don't understand fully what is occurring in your life at that time. So if you're not ready to share with family and friends, if you're not ready to put yourself out there in that way, find a support group, find somebody, people, they're everywhere. You just have to look. That is going through the same thing that you are, because it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be public about it in your personal life, but you can be public about it with people that know exactly what you're going through, which is completely normal. It's completely normal not to want to be out there just telling everybody your business, but there's nobody that understands an infertile quite like an infertile. So keep that in mind.
It's true. It's so true. 100%.
The one thing we always hear people say is that they don't regret, like, once finding like the support, being open. Then they're like, oh, I should have done this earlier. You know, they're like, man, if somebody would have just told me that if I could like find my people, that this would be so much easier, like I would do it. But you just don't know at the very beginning, you know? And yeah.
So this is your sign. If you're listening to this and you haven't joined a support group or you haven't found your people yet, find your people.
Dive in.
We love people.
You won't regret it. You will not regret it. I promise.
Yeah.
It's going to feel weird, but you're going to be okay and you're going to love it.
Ladies, thank you so much, Erin, Tiffany, for spending your time with us today. I feel like you guys do this very often on your own podcast, but tonight you're being podcasted Fertility Village Live. Thank you so much for being vulnerable and sharing your story and giving us all the details about how this started, the past, the present, the future. Oasis truly, truly shows what the power of community is. And so for those listening, if you haven't gotten involved with Oasis yet, you can find Oasis through our website, which is
oasisfsn.com.
And our social media, which is
Oasis FSN.
Oasis FSN, and then fertility _ village.
Yeah, we had to get a second one in there because one wasn't enough.
Yes. And the podcast is on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, I believe, as well.
Anywhere you get your podcast.
Yep. And then all the episodes of Fertility Village Live are also on Spotify, and they're all recorded on YouTube, so you can go watch them whenever you want to, 3 a.m. 2 a.m.
24/7.
24/7. So anyways, thank you guys for joining. Oh, wait, there is an event. I do want to put that in there for people that are listening. There's going to be an event. Erin, do you want to talk about it quickly?
Oh, the comedy show?
Yes.
Yeah, October 2nd. We're just the beneficiaries of the event. But if you live in the Barrie area, at Donnelly's Pub, downtown Barrie, there's going to be a comedy show. All the proceeds go to Oasis. You can get tickets on Eventbrite. Just search for Donnelly's Comedy Show or Oasis and you'll find it. It's also linked on our Instagram. And it's going to be so funny. We're going to laugh our butts off and forget about all of our problems. It's the best thing to do because comedy and beer, like what better things go, and probably nachos. Also, Donnelly's has the best nachos. So those three things sound like pretty much the perfect opportunity to forget all our problems.
And if you want to get away from the fertility talk, but you still want to support an infertility cause, it's a great night to come out.
Totally.
So,
yeah.
Okay.
Can't promise it's going to be like, safe, but it's going to be fun.
What do you mean by that?
I mean,
there are people, Erin. They're going to think they're going to come get jumped or something.
Forget it. It's going to be fun. End the episode. End live.
End live now. Start the car. All right. Well, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for sharing. And of course, thank you for being part of our village. And we'll see you next week for next week's episode of Fertility Village Live. Can't wait.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.